Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome once again. This is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people. Got a great message for you today, those of you who are blessed enough to be channeled here. And this message is coming to you live from station WEBM. That's wonderful, Eddie B. Marcus, operating smack down from the top of the sky, the spiritual realm, right down to wherever you are. And the hope is that this message will generate within you a yearning to be free and is as real to you as the blood that flows through your veins, and you will settle for nothing less than total freedom. I was thinking about, ladies and gentlemen, the messages that I bring to you constantly about peace and prosperity and the joy of life. The theory is one thing, but being practical and the reality of it is another. And while the theory I hold so dear, without doubt at all about the reality of it, but to be blessed enough to find others that have the same vein of thought and who have been able to take this situation a little bit deeper than what I have. In other words, translated the words, the theory, into something that you can actually see, a manifestation for your eyes and for your ears and for your mouths to speak into being that which is required of you to cause it to happen. And so that is so fantastic. I know it is fantastic. It is real. It is real to me. And since it is so real to me, it gives me the audacity to be here before you and say to you, yes, the nations of the world are at turmoil. And the essence of peace is not even being considered. Everybody is speaking about the negative, the anger, the war, the more money into military spending, the more interest in building military outposts up in space. And don't you know that in Antarctica, where everybody has been focusing on what's going on down there, let's assume that there's a new world wrapped around that piece of ice. You can bet your last money, if any of the powers upon this side of the earth had been able to establish some superiority right there, they would have been willing to kill anybody that was in any way trying to come down to their new world. Ain't that something? But it expresses exactly who we are as a people. It tells us in no uncertain terms exactly who and what we are. And it is by that reality, the clearness that each of you here in America should understand today, especially since the onslaught of your new president, Donald Trump. For those of you who have some decency about you, he has shown you just how ugly indecency is. And for those of you who have had no decency about you, you are sunk right down there with him and you are having a hell of a ball. But look in the mirror at yourselves, and I'm telling you, the only proudness that you will feel is ignorance, a lack of love. But don't be dismayed. There are those out there who are smarter, wiser, and more loving than you, and recognize from which you come. We recognize what shaped and molded you and made you into who you are. And so rather than try to hate you and try to defeat you, we're going to try to win you. Win you by showing you that love, my friend, is better than hate any day. More effective than hate any day. And so while Trump has some plans, Republicans and Democrats are working it out, and the, G8, G7 or 6, whatever number they are, they got some things going on. The United Nations got some things going on. The Trilateral Commission got some things going on. and all of the powers that be and their separate entities and their secretness have some plans going on. And it is resulting in what we have right here in the world today. It is pure chaos. For some of us, it is total hell. For some of us, it's getting there. And some of us, it could be a party. But ladies and gentlemen, I tell you what, it's a plan that has nothing to do with God. And so that is my purpose for being here today. To tell you that God has a plan for America. God has a plan for the people of the earth. And it is totally different than the plans of your leaders that you have chosen, or your leaders that have been imposed upon you, or your leaders who are dictators. God's plan is altogether different. Now, I know many of you might be questioning, where in the heck can I be coming from? You've been listening to people tell you about God's plan all your life. And the outcome of God's plan is in the middle of the stuff that you find yourself in today. So what good news could God possibly have for you today to liberate you from the bondage of your mind and the bondage of your life that you've been confined to ever since? Well, here it goes, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to look at every man out there that you can think of. Which one of them? I don't care how small they are, or how great you think they might become, or how great they have become. I want to ask you, which one of them? Search the whole earth, limited only by your knowledge, and check out the internet. It got a lot of information on it. Tell me, what human being played a part in the creation of the earth? Think hard now. Google it. You come up with an answer? Oh, not one human being had anything to do with the creation of the earth. Not even the minerals and the resources that's in the earth. Not even the resources that are above the earth. That which is seen and unseen. Not a one. You mean to tell me man, in all of his greatness, had nothing to do with the creation of the earth? Wow. Isn't that something new to know? Well, anyway, good news. But let's not stop there. I want you to tell me what human being, you can Google this too, was instrumental in the creative process of a single man. What human being, if any, had to do with the creative process outside of that which was given, played a part in that process that was not? So you mean to tell me human beings are on the earth because of a power that we have and had nothing to do with? We're just here? Wow. What a power. Now, in order for us to be here, to stay here, to survive, and we are here, and I tell you, you can look at an ant when you try to step on it, it start running away. So everything is trying to survive, including human beings. And one thing that is not necessarily unique about human beings, but is common amongst every human being, is that they require not only blood and water and oxygen to survive, they also require food and clothing and shelter and education and health care. Every last one of them requires that for survival. And all of these things are required of all of them. So rather than each one of them trying to meet all of these particular needs, it seems as if they can divide it up and let each one play a particular role in the process. That means that each human being has been given a responsibility in the process of creating for their own survival. And that gift is the gift that everybody has been searching for. The thing that they wanted to do more than anything else, that gives them life that isn't work any longer but a joy. And now, you mean to tell me that that is a gift that mankind had nothing to do with except receive? Wow. How great a power. And now what we see is that human beings, every last one of them, having this common requirement for survival and these basic essentials, now have a role to play in the creative process, a role that they love with all their being, and exercise in the creative process, utilizing the resources that was given by a power that we cannot see, touch, or feel, but have the evidence thereof, has enabled us to create enough of all of these goods and services required that no human being on the face of the earth should ever be without. What? What? No poverty? No other side of the railroad track? No ghettos? No crime and violence and cheating and stealing and lying and killing? Woo! Now that got to be a power of God. An opportunity for every human being's dream to come true. Not limited to anything but the imagination. My God, what a plan for all Americans. What a plan for all humans on the face of the earth. Now, I know many of you say you've been going to church all your life. You never heard this before. Well, I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that the ministers and the elders and the bishops and the preachers that you have listened to, most of them have been honest with you. They've given you their heart. And you can take nothing away from what they have given you. They gave you what God gave them. And God didn't give them this because if God had, they would have given it to you. But he did give it to me. And that's why I'm giving it to you. And those preachers and elders and deacons and people out there who were doing everything in their heart, they're not mad with me. They've been waiting for this moment to verify and legitimize what they have been doing. Where you want to go? No, go up the corner. My daughter trying to learn how to drive, and she bugging me talking about can she get the car and go down the street. You guys know what that's about, don't you? But anyway, no lying, no cheating. All of these things come true to you. That's God's gift to you. Now, since I've given you God's gift to you, let me remind you, what you have in the world today requires that in order for any of these things to come true, you got to have money. And those who got money plan to rule you and control you and manipulate you, because since you don't have the money, you got to get it. You got to get it from those who got it. And those who got it have abused you. They've lied. They've benefited from the lies that were told even before they got here. They have benefited from the lies that have been instituted even before their parents got here. These lies have been set up since the beginning of time. And they have worked all the way up to this date. It's just on this day you're hearing somebody tell you it was a con game and that it is not supposed to last beyond your awakening. The moment you awake is the moment it's supposed to end. Awake doesn't just mean opening your eyes. It means getting busy, wiping that sucker out in the form of love. Now, what does that mean? That means, again, that all of these people who have been blinded, you were blinded at one time. So you can't go out trying to kick people. You can't go out trying to badmouth people because they grew up in a different environment than you. You grew up in an environment of some kind of love. They didn't. So they act the way they have been trained to act. Now you have the responsibility of those of you to exercise love, to make sure when we talk about love, we're not talking about any special kind of love. We're talking about the kind of love that works for everybody. That means that the peace, the prosperity, and joy that you have is the same one that they are going to have. That the resources of the earth that are available to you are as well available to every last one of them. and that none of you are more important than any of those on that other side, and none of them are more important than you. This is God's kind of love. Now I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to ask you straight out. This is God's plan for you. Now many of you have heard me say something, it does sound extremely good, but you just can't see how this can happen, how this is going to work. So let me refer you to a YouTube episode called The Venus Project. The Venus Project. This project was established by individuals just like you and myself who have the same vision of truth as we have just articulated here, but are much directed in a different vein than perhaps some of us. Some of us are just to stand up and speak out and go to jail or challenge the system, but some of us to go out there and create in reality what we have been speaking about, so that those of you who are so confused have no idea how this thing can become real. You can just change channel to that program, The Venus Project by Jock. Oh man, God. The last name eludes me right now. It'll come back to me perhaps in a moment. And check out that Venus Project, and it will eliminate those doubts that you have. And all I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, is God's plan is a whole lot better than Trump's plan, or the Republicans' plan, or the Democrats' plan, or America's plan, or China's plan, or Russia's plan. You see where I'm going? God is a gentle, loving God, and the only power that will give you the freedom that you so urgently, as you say, need. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus. Don't forget, I'm running for senator in the state of Minnesota, not on the ballot. Republicans and Democrats in their particular stance right now can't afford this that I'm speaking to you about. So I'm coming not for them, but for all of you, the people here in Minnesota, across this nation, and across this globe. Wake up and give God